a lot of land in Britain is owned by large companies or very big estates, often related to the old aristocracy. 90% of people live in 10% of the land, and that's a massive problem. It's unsustainable. Someone like me couldn't raise some money and go and buy some land and live on it because the planning laws stop me from doing that. So squatting is an interesting space where you challenge the law and you create a bubble and create an experiment and try to make some space to do that, to live differently. Most of the squats in London are commercial property and you're not supposed to live there, but they're also empty and people make them into nice homes. So they're challenging the planning laws and as well as challenging the property laws. What we want to do is create an interesting comparison.
Oh, okay.
So we want to create this strong, sustainable community, growing its own food, producing its own energy, looking after each other.
I don't feel it's political, but for me it's environmental.
So about March last year we squatted this land and the local residents really wanted us to squat it because it was abandoned and it was full of rubbish and falling down, and we repaired the greenhouses. And basically everything you see here we basically built or created. So the structures here for the greenhouses were there, but we fixed most of the glass.
Yeah, I mean we are basically we don't have any mains power. We live in the woods, so we built our houses out of pallets and doors and
Over here is where some of us live. Some people live on site as well. The structure is called a bender, and it's old woodsman's dwelling. And so, I mean, it's quite an elaborate one, and it's not finished. It's halfway through.
And what is it going to be?
It's going to be someone's house. Again, in need of a tidy up, but yeah, this is the free shop, and you can take anything you want. All our tomatoes and peppers and lots of things. At the moment, we've got a temporary workshop here that's okay, but you know, everything's piled in. And then we have the bike workshop here. This is our main base, but we try to encourage these kinds of ideas that you might find here, such as a bike workshop, you know, cycling, producing your own energy, growing food, working together, consensus decision making, direct democracy, all of those things. We try to promote them in the wider community as a form of long-term resilience. Squatting is primarily a form of survival for lots of homeless people, and then it's also a form of living a reasonable quality of life for people that don't have much money, or for people that want to live near their family and not have to work, 80-hour weeks, or be able to do work that they believe is important but isn't well paid, like being a teacher or a community worker or a gardener. And squatting produces its own culture, and the reason for that for me is because it has the space to do that.
Okay.
You have space and resources, so people who squat suddenly have space, like land or buildings, but then they also have more time because they don't have to work to pay the rent. Yeah, it's easy to squat in London because there's a lot of empty property, and you have, you're not arrested on the spot. I mean, sometimes if you're unlucky, but it's just something else. But the law doesn't require you to be arrested. It's not criminal.
Okay.
So they're trying to criminalise squatting, and what we're trying to say is, look, if you criminalise squatting, firstly, why are you doing it? There's no need. You haven't got any evidence. There's no problem caused here. So why would you need to create a new law for no problem? Not only that, the law you create will become a problem. Firstly, because it criminalises some of the most vulnerable people. So lots of very vulnerable people with a lot of social problems, they squat in order to survive.
Yeah.
And they're not people like me. They're people with drug addictions and fleeing domestic violence and mental health problems that have been failed, and if they can't squat, then they'll have nowhere to live.